Hi, good morning, everyone. Today we will talk a bit about the networking commands in Linux. So we would like to discuss these commands. So first commands that we would like to talk about is curl. So curl command basically helps users uh, to connect to any browser. So if you say curl and I say www.google.com, it is going to display the web page of Google. Of course, it is not going to display in the HTML format or in a browser format, but yes, it can run it for you onto the system. So basically, the job of the curl command is to show you the URL transfer for this page. So it can work by transferring the data from various protocols, whether it is HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, etc. So you can read from your browser, so it will just display the data if there is anything on your website, etc. If you want to save the file onto your system, it can use the command. For example, if I say curl.google.com and I say -0. But before I begin, one more thing is I'll just tell you a bit about curl. So man curl is going to tell you is to transfer a URL, and these are the various protocols that it can process from, and wherever you are using, it's going to do it, and some switches are available over here. So you can have a read of it and you can refer to it. So starting now, curl -0 www.google.com, and if I type it, it is going to copy this file somewhere, or if there is any file inside it that I'm referring to, it will be copied. So for example, I did not have any file, but if I say here curl google.com and I say any file.txt, if there is any file that is on that browser, it will be saved with the same name over here. So that is something it can do. So it allows you to save the file with the same name. I don't have it, so it will not be demonstrated to you. Now you can also redirect the file to another location by using -l command. So you can use -l command if you want to redirect the file to another location. You can do it with -l command, and you can say, okay, redirect. I don't have any location, but it is just showing you there that there was no information. The redirect code was not found on the server. So of course I don't have it. So I've just used google.com. But yes, if it wants, it can direct it to another server over here, another location. In addition to this, we also have another switch with curl, which is curl -I, uppercase I, and I want to check HTTP for www.google.com. So it is going to give me a code that it is 200. That means it's a success code, and I can refer to this file with HTTP protocol also, apart from HTTPS protocol. So I can check that, and if you want, you can also it's only going to show the HTTP headers, but if you want, you can check for your HTTPS headers as well. Sorry, this is not correct one, typo error. HTTPS, and similar, this time it has been pushed for HTTPS, and it is going to show you some information that the information it is checking is for this particular type of headers only. And you can see here that this is HTTP 1.1, 200 is okay, and HTTP 2, which is also for the security, etc. And more information will come here. You can have a read of it, and it is going to display to you more information. The things you can see here, what date it came, X-frame options, etc., same origin and cookie, etc. All this information will come which is a lot of metadata they will see with this information. If you want to send any data with post, you can also use -d as an option. But again, as I said, I don't have the website to demonstrate. So curl -d is the option to send data. And you want to send, for example, a field of data, for example, first name is equal to Arman, that's me. And I want to send it to https://www.google.com. It will anyway not go there, and I say anypage.php. It will fail because this does not exist actually, so you will get a 404 error, which is obvious. But if you want to send any data, you can use -d command for this system. If you want to log into a website with a username and password, you can always use the command curl -u, that is the username, and the user is whatever, the password is whatever. You have your username and password, and the file name is https again ://www.google.com. so if you want to log in with some secret information, so it is just displayed by default because this is open portal. This is for any use. But yes, you can also use the command to get your more information over here. Then another important command that you have in Unix or Linux is man wget. So the job of wget is to download the files. So many times we want to download the particular application or particular file, we will use this tool. So wget, it needs the path and wherever I'm going to download it from. So command is, for example, wget, and I say https. Again, I don't have a website, but yes, I can download it. If I say www.google.com, and if there is any application over there, I can pull it. And it has downloaded index.html for me and saved it in this local directory. So if I do ls index.html, the file is existing there, and this is the same file that has been pulled from this IP address on secure port, which is 443. Request sent, it was 200, okay, and it has been saved in the same file. So wget is basically used to download the files from internet. So many times if we want to install any application or third-party tool or utilities, we use wget to download, and then we can run that package file into the system. You can also use various switches over here. So if you want, you can use, for example, -b. So if you use -b, it is going to run in the background without outputting or giving any details on the forefront. And output has been written in wget_log, and the process ID is this. So if I do ps, the process anyway would have finished by now, which was 1843, but it has worked in the background, and it is again overwritten. The file is again overwritten, and you can get the information from wget.log, and wget.log is here, you can find it. So if you say cat wget.log, you will see that the data is saved as index.html.1. so it downloaded it and saved it. So again, if I say over here that if I say ls index.html, or I say star, it will display this. And if I just use star, it will display both the files that are available over here. Then you can also run with quiet mode. You can see that. But if you want to download directories and subdirectories along with the file, you can use the command wget, but you can use with -r option, which is recursive. So recursive commands helps you to download your files and the subdirectories associated with it. So you can run this command. I will not execute it because it will download a lot of data over there, but google.com. So it has just saved index.html. I will just put www. So with -r, see, it has downloaded so many files that are associated with index.html, and it is downloading them recursively. So this is just for your information on the system. I'll just cancel it over here, but I will just clear the screen and I'll do ls, and now you will see that there is a subdirectory www.google.com that is available. So if I say ls www.google.com, so a lot of information is coming here, and you can see there is a lot of directories, subdirectories, images, services that is created. So you can further go and you can see images over there, then it has got branding, and then it has got logo and all other files that will be downloaded. Now many times you also come to a situation where your data or files are partially downloaded. To continue downloading the file which was partially downloaded, you can use the command as wget, and you can use -c. -c is to continue, and again https://www.google.com. So if anything that was partially downloaded, which was, it will start downloading the data, and it has saved it as a new file. But if you say -r with it, which was recursive, so we stopped somewhere in between, now this will continue because we stopped it, and it will continue from there. So this is what we mean by this command over here. Then next important command that we have is ping. So ping is to send the number of requests for ICMP echo request to any network host. So I'll just cancel this again and I'll leave it here. I'll clear the screen and I will run the command man ping. So ping basically sends ICMP echo request to any network host. It is just a useful command to check the network connectivity and diagnosing any network issues if there are any. And these are the switches that you have: -4, -6, -A, -B, and you can read them more for this. So let's review some of the command switches. So for example, if I say ping www.google.com, you will see that I have started receiving the pings from Google, and they will continue. So 5 packets were received and there was no packet loss. All of them were received, and it took 4006 milliseconds to retrieve the data from this portal total. Now there are some switches. So for example, if I only want 3 pings, I don't want more than 3 pings. So -c is the counter. So now only 3 pings will receive, and you will get the output on the screen. Now also, if you want to wait for a number of seconds before you receive another request, so you can also use the command ping, and you can use, for example, I'll use -i. -i is the command to wait for number of seconds. So for example, I say wait for every 5 seconds before you send another ping. Now it is waiting for 5 seconds, and it will send another ping after 5 seconds, and this process will continue over the system. Let's cancel it. Then we have more commands over here. We can also determine that the maximum number of hops a packet can take. So for example, we are taking 64 hops. So we can do it, and we can check it over here. So let's start it. We can take before this packet is discarded. So we will use the command over here, -t, which is for number of packets, and 64. And if I run, Now you will see only 64 basically the number of hops a packet can receive before it is being discarded, and it is going to come to you. Many times we don't want to see these packets coming on the screen. So for example, if I say here that I want to have packets like say hyphen count of 5, I want 5 packets and I want them quiet. I don't want to see them, but I want those 5 activities are completed, and once the 5 pings have completed, it will stop. So queue will basically allow the packet to receive and will not show you the verbose or other detail onto the system. So it will quietly do it, and it will not show you any summary of the ping results that you are seeing over here in the method. Now lastly, you can also specify that how many bytes of data you want to send with the ping. So you can use the command ping -s is the switch, and you say for example 128 or 256 or 64, and you say www.google.com. So this is going to send you minimum 128 bytes of data to Google, and the ping will continue. So this is some information about ping over here. And then there are other networking commands also which we can talk of. So for example, we have got many other commands that we can check, like hostname, etc. over here. So for example, let me clear the screen. Man IP. So IP shows the routing, network devices, interface, and tunnels. So for example, if I want to see the IP address of the machine, so let's clear the screen and I say, oh, let's press Q. I press IP and A, DDR, which is the address, and it is giving me some information over here. And you can see we have a loopback address over here, which is also known as the local host, and it shows that the local host is coming at this IP address, and it will never deviate from 127.0.0.1.8, and it is very well used for diagnostics. Then you will also see other information over here, which is your Ethernet address that it is going to come from. So this is, I think this is the private IP address of this machine, where this machine is being picked up from. So just to show it to you, this is 10.0.1.4. So this is your physical network interface card, and some machines may have H0. If you have got more than that, then it will have that particular Ethernet card information also available over here onto the system. So IP address basically shows you the list of information with the command. Then you also have something that is known as, let's clear the screen, man hostname. So this displays your system hostname or whatever the IP address of the network interface that you are using, etc. over here. So if I type hostname, it's Ubuntu VM. You can see this is the hostname. That's the machine that I created on Azure. If I say I want to have hostname and I want to have IP address of this also flagged, it will tell me, so 10.0.1.4. So that is the IP address that is given to me. So if you go to the previous command, which was here, IP address, you will see that my Ethernet card holds this IP address 10.0.1.4. So this is the IP address that is allocated. It's a private IP address that is allocated to my virtual machine on this Ethernet card. And this is the same IP address that you are seeing over here. Then there is another command which can tell you about the sockets which are there in the system that are being used. So man ss. So it shows, it's a utility to investigate the sockets and will provide you some statistics for it. It displays the previous command is basically known as netstat, which is the network status. So there is no manual entry for this. So this is the newer command of this. It provides information about open ports, listening TCP, and any user-defined protocols, sockets, active connection, routing tables, process, statistics, etc. So if I run ss, you will see a lot of information over here. And if you go on the top of the screen, it will say that the net ID of this detail and the status, receive, send, what is the local address it is going from, what port it is using, what is the other address or the port it is using, and what is the process ID, if any. And you can see a lot of information that will come over here. So for ICMP, TCP, etc. Now let's try to use them with some switches. So let's clear the screen. And if I want to display only listening sockets, so which sockets are listening, command is -L. So all these sockets are listening at the moment. And this is the location or the file or the port or the system where it is connected to, it is listening. Then we can also have another switch, which is T, which only indicates that I only want to see TCP sockets. So now I'm only seeing the TCP sockets. So -T will only display the sockets that are TCP. But if I want to use or see only UDP socket, which are user defined, I'll use the switch U. And now it is going to give me information about the user defined sockets that are into the system of the machine. And then you also have N is going to display the numerical address of the sockets. So if I say N, L, and T, so only this information is being given. So there is not major change in it, but it also provides the numerical address of the resources over here. Now netstat, if you don't have netstat, you can always, like I tried to use netstat, there was no manual entry over there, so I'll go and install netstat. So I will just run sudo apt install net-tools and it will be installed over it. So sometimes the utilities that are old are not available. You can always go and download it from the repository, whether it is apt yum or whatever it is. So let's clear the screen and let's run man netstat. Now we have the entry. So it is going to print network connection, routing table, some interface statistics, and other information from here. So let's try to run the command netstat. Now you're seeing something similar, but it has got active internet connections, TCP, which is Ubuntu connected to, and Ubuntu VM internal, I'm connected using the SSH port also, and the connection is established. And apart from that, you have other connections which are connected to the system. So I'm not going into detail of this, but yes, other connections are there. So if you want to have netstat and you want to say all sockets -A, so it displays all sockets whether they are listening or they are not. So you can see all TCP, UDP, raw, Unix, etc. all sockets whether they are listening or they are not listening. If you say I want all sockets which is having a numerical address, so it will again show some more information over here that it has come up with. And then again, similar to SS, if we try to use with the only checking for TCP protocol, you can just type -t. It will display only protocol which is on TCP, so that I'm using, and it is available onto the system. It's a local protocol. If you want to see the TCP protocol, but you also want to see the process ID of that, it is also going to show you the process ID of the program name, if it is there. So if it is not there, it will not show you. But if you say, I want to see all the process IDs of only the listening sockets, then it will start showing you some process ID if it is there. And it is also showing you some inodes and other information that is related to the system. But currently there is nothing. But -p basically shows the process name or the program name that is associated to. Then you also have a command. Let's try to run traceroute. So no manual entry for traceroute. So that means sometimes the commands are not there, so we can trace the route. So it says install traceroute. So I'm just going to run and say sudo apt install traceroute -y. It is going to trace and it is quickly going to install the traceroute program. And the traceroute basically shows the path taken by data packet or the hops or the sequence or the loss that is happening with the system. So if I say clear and I say man trace route, you will see it will print the root packet trace to network host, and it gives you more information, and you can read more about it with some of the switches I'll show you, but yes, you can check it at your own. So for example, if I say trace route, and let me just remove the, I will use the universal IP address. It is going to give me the trace route for maximum number of hops that will happen, and it is going to, this is the Google DNS, the hops that are happening, and it is working for the particular packet. You can also try for www.google.com, which will be, now it is tracing to this IP address, that how it is going to go to, and it is giving you some information about the data, how it is traveling or coming from anywhere to anywhere. In some cases, it may also give you detail of the IP addresses, how the data is flowing from my machine, where it is going to, how many milliseconds it is taking, how data is flowing. So more detail can also come with it. So you can go and check various switches for this. For example, for IPv4, ICMP, first TTL, you want to check the gateway interface, max TTL. Do not try to map IP addresses when displaying them, port. You can use some of these mix and match of the switches if you want, and you can get more detailed information onto the system. So just to give an example, that you can use -4-N-P. I'm just using some random switches. So there is nothing. So for example, if I say again, it is going to give the number of counts that it is going to print, and this is the newer way it gives, but it's not displaying the path that is going to go through. It is showing going from anywhere to anywhere, coming here, but ideally it should show me more detail how the path is traveling onto the system. Then you also have a mtr command. So let's clear the screen and I say man mtr. So it's a network diagnostic tool. It combines the functionality of the traceroute and ping commands in a single network diagnostic tool. So it investigates your network connection between host and runs on hostname by sending tickets or packets or information with low TTL over there. So you can quit, and I'm just going to use the command mtr, which is www.google.com. so you will start receiving some more information from the host over here. So you can see that it is waiting for reply, the gateway that it is coming from. There is a packet loss, how much is sent, what was last sent, what is the average packet, and the worst, and the stdev information over here onto the system. But this information will keep on updating. Like here, some of the information is still not here, it's still waiting for reply. So maybe there's a firewall, maybe there's a security group, maybe there is a restriction on my machine that I have created. Depends on that. It is trying to go and gives you more information about the functionality of the truth trace. So I'll cancel this. Another command is known as dig. So man dig. Dig basically is DNS lookup utility. It is also known as domain information gropper. It helps you to look for the details of the host. So for example, if I say dig and I say www.google.com, so it has dig google.com. It has got the answer. It has got the answer that this is what it is. It is coming from this IP address. So this is very similar to get the information about the DNS records. It's going to show you the A record, which is this. It is also going to show you MX record, if any, and signature, if it is encrypted. And it will also show you with any of them. So you can also use like https:// and we'll use microsoft.com. So it has digged and it is showing you the A record. It is also showing you the service record that is there, how much time it takes, the query time, the local IP address, this time, and this is the packet received, and information that is coming with this record. So basically it means to say that your first column over here, it is going to indicate the name of the server, which is this over here. Then after that, it is going to show you the time to live command, which is 300. Then it is going to show you the query class, which is in, and then the type of record that it is going to show. So like it's a record, or it is going to be a service authority record, and then the IP address where it is coming from. So in the previous case, the IP address was this. In this case, it is coming from Azure DNS or Azure DNS hostmaster.microsoft.com, and then it also gives more information, how much time it takes, maximum time to live, and this information is all coming from the system onto the system. Now if you only want to run, you don't want to run the entire detail of the command, you can only run the command, for example, dig plus know all plus answer. If you run this command, nothing is coming. Let's remove this. Nothing is there. Let's remove this. See, basically I just wanted that it should only display this line. So these are the switches. Know all only runs the this is actually the answer. That is what we want. So that is why we have this answer switch. So by default it is there, but I don't want rest of them. So the switch is know all, and it should have given me this. Let me try this with the google.com. So dig, I'll say plus know all, and then I say plus answer. Yeah, See, here it is. It is showing me only that record by default. So earlier, if I was with google.com, if I run this, I was seeing the entire detail, which I don't want. This is my only answer. This is the information that I want. That what is the time to live, what is the type of record, and what is the IP address. Where did it dig into? Oh, this is the command. You can get it if you do not want any of these information over here. You just want which is the IP address that I'm using for google.com. So you can simply say here, over here, dig google.com, and you can use the switch as short, and it will only give you the IP address. Then you also want to reduce the verbosity of the command. So for example, when you were running this, you had a lot of information. Now you want to reduce this with no additional comments. So you will only see the information that you should only get, no other information. So all the additional information has been taken out from here, and you're only seeing the information that is important for you. Then if you are seeing the MX records, which is mail exchange record, which it does not have, so it will not, it is just giving you service of authority record. There is no record for MX, but if you want to see for MX record, it will give you information that what is the mail server record that it is going to provide, which can be probably for gmail.com or other services over there onto the system. I hope this all makes sense. And the next command that we have is lookup, ns lookup. So we have a command which is ns lookup. It is also a command for look up. So it is going to query the internet name interactively with IP address. So it is not at all as detailed as dig command is, but it gives you some information about it. So if I say ns lookup and www.google.com, it is only giving you that this is the server where it has gone from, this is the Google where it has gone to, this is the IP address of Google, and this is the IPv6 address of Google. So if you want, it can give you the detail of the address. But if you are looking for ns lookup for google.com and you are looking for a particular type, which is a record, so it will just give you a record information, which is here. Now if you want IPv6, you have to use AAA, then it will give you IPv6 command. So I do not have IPv6 connection. My internet does not allow me to access IPv6, but AAA is for IPv6 record, which you're seeing here, which is IPv6 by default. So it did not allow me, but if you want to see another type of connection, for example, MX, I don't have, so it will not show you anything because I don't have any mail exchange server. But if you have a mail exchange server, it is going to show you information about it. In addition to this, if you know a bit about DNS, you know that there's a name server record also. So you can also look for type, which is name server, and it is going to tell us that where the server is coming from. So you can use, I'll just remove this. Let's see. So the no name server record are coming, but usually let's try for microsoft.com. Yeah, see, all these name server records came in. So these are all the various name server records that have generated from this system, and this is the IP address or the A record for the system. So all of this will come. You can also try for Apple if you want to try, and you will see a lot of information if there are any more than a few name server records. So here it is. It's coming over here. So this is what it gives you onto the system. With Gmail, if you are having, it can show you onto the system. Apart from that, we also have host command. So host command basically is another DNS lookup utility tool, which helps you with a similar kind of domain name, IP addresses, and mail server if any exists. So quitting from here, if you say host www.google.com, so it has just printed the information over here into the system. Then another example is man whois. So whois, there is no entry for this, so let's try whois. So let's install sudo apt install whois, and it is done. So whois basically, it's a protocol for performing domain lookups and querying distributed any database systems if it has any. So let's clear the screen and let's run the command again. Whois www.google.com, and it gives a lot of information. So there is no information for this. This contains only the registry database only contains google.net edu domains. Let's try for Microsoft. So it has got certain limitations over here. So it did provide us the information that who is the registrar of Microsoft. So this is the domain ID, this is Mark Monitor, and this is more information. This is the technical email. These are the name servers that you need to know, 1, 2, 3, 4, that it is going to come from. This is the phone number, this is the host master, and this is the admin for this, and all the information that is related to it will come over here into the system. Then the last command that we use is almost there, is man ssh. So it's connected to secure shell. So Linux, we usually connect using secure shell. So the command is that we use is ssh and the name of the username and the remote IP, and it connects to the various machines. So for users who are using Windows platform, maybe using Windows protocol onto the system, and must be installing putty to have the key file, etc., to connect to any Unix terminal. But ssh is the command ssh. So like I'm connected to Azure user, so command is Azure user @IP address. So 1.2.3.4. It will not exist, it will fail because the IP address does not exist. So it will anyway return something that does not exist, and then it will ask me to enter the password, and then I will enter it because I'm into that machine only and there is no IP address with 1, 2, 3, 4. But you can do it over here. You can also specify the port number. So Linux is by default on port number 22. SSH secure shell connects on port number 22, but if you want to connect it to any specific port, you can use -p as a switch to the port. Then we have man scp, which is secure copy. You can copy the file from secure on a secure path or a secure shell onto the system, and if you want, you can copy it anywhere you want it to. So I cannot demonstrate to you this command, but the example over here is scp, which is secure copy, and the file name that you want to copy. And for example, you want to copy it to for example, as I said, Azure user @1.2.3. whatever the IP address. and then you will see that it is at home and Azure user. You can copy it. So it will directly connect to Azure user and copy the output to Azure user onto the system if it is created, which is actually I'm in Azure user. But if you want to copy it at a remote destination, you just it will log in, look for the home directory, look for that particular username, and dump your file into that particular host directory onto the system. Then I hope this makes sense to everyone. And last command, I'm almost there on the closing place. Then we have a network mapper. So command is nmap. So there is no manual entry for nmap. So we'll just quickly install nmap, sudo apt install nmap, and it is going to install it quickly, very fast. So it's an open source utility. It is good for network scanning and do a vulnerability assessment for the system. So if I do man netmap, it is going to explore the tool, security, and port scanner for the system. So for example, if I quit and I say hostname, which is me, Ubuntu VM, and -i, it is going to give me the IP address for the machine, and I say nmap, and I want to map the network, which is 10.0.1.4/24, and it is started to check the mapping. So this is for this machine. This was the latency. So port is closed, connection is refused. Only ports open are 22 and 80. And this port should be open, and more information can be available to you. And you can get more information for this. If you want to have more detailed information, you can use -a switch, which is going to give you detailed information if it is available. And if the ports are open, it is scanning, it is going to create some information and give you the output for the system. So it is the same thing. The only thing is that with this port number 20, it has detailed that this is the key and this is the key, and for HTTP we have installed Apache, and this is the server header, which I have created a web server on this machine, and that is what it is showing as connected. So apart from that, there is no other information that is available to the system. Now the only thing was there that I was scanning for the entire port. If there is another port, if I don't want to address for only for this machine, you can also use -a over here. So which is going to give very similar information because I'm not running the pool of the machines. Okay, then we have arp command, which provides the cache information onto the system. So if I say man arp, it is going to manipulate the system cache. It displays or modify the ARP cache information. The ARP cache is simply a table that provides a mapping of IP addresses to their MAC addresses in the system. So if I say ARP, I'll quit, and if I use ARP command, let me clear the screen, CLEAR, ARP, it is going to provide me some information, the address gateway, and the Ethernet address, the hardware address, the flags, and the interface. So I don't have much of data, but I can always put the IP address with the particular switch, which is -d, and it is 10.0.1.4, and there is no manual entry. And if I say /24, there is again no manual entry. But yes, if you want to check it for a particular IP address or a pool of IP address, yes, we can check it. So I may not have much of the data, but yes, you can get information related to it. I have limitation with my Azure or Linux VM that I'm running. Then another command is man nm CLI, which is for your identifying the network interfaces. So I'll just say sudo apt install nmcli, and there is nothing there, so we will just quickly, it must be part of some utility. We'll just use this command. It is going to say install network manager. So sudo apt install network hyphen manager hyphen y, and typo error, please be very careful with these things. And it has installed it. So nmcli is going to display for all the network interfaces and the commands that are available in the system. It provides MAC address, MTU, root IP addresses, etc. If I just run the command nmcli, see, it is showing me information over here that this is the Ethernet connection, Ethernet 0 card, that is for my current machine. And you can also run the command. It will also provide any information about your connectivity, internet connection, or switches over here. So for example, we have nmcli eth0. Okay, let's use more command device show. So here is more information about eth0. So it's Ethernet connection. So I'm not using a Wi-Fi connection, and the MTU hardware address connection, the IP address of my local machine, the gateway, the destination, and route addresses, and IPv6 address, and more information will come over here. You can also check the connection of the status by running the command nmcli connection show. So there is nothing at the moment that it is going to show me. So I do not have much data that is running on this machine. But if it is there, it will show that if I have any connectivity or any Ethernet or internet, I can try with eth0. No, it is not identifying it. But eth0 is the tool that I was using before over here. Yeah, it is eth0 only, and it is showing that it is a Ethernet connection, direct, not a wired connection. Yeah, so this is for the some of the basic command. You can also check and install if you want to check the bandwidth of the system, etc. Command is beamon, so it is not there. So sudo apt install. So these are all third-party utilities or not available with Linux directly. Some flavors may have, some flavors may not have, so you need to just install it, and just you need to run the command beamon, and it is going to show you the information about your data, which is very interactive over here. So it is the newer version of iftop command, which gives the information how much data is transmitting, receiving, and gives you more information about the bandwidth in a very human readable format over here. So you can check it over here, and if there is anything that is available, it will show you onto the system. So it is interactive, mouse is working with it. So this is for my Ethernet connectivity, and you can see some graphical data that is coming over here. Yeah, and then you also have your queues, etc. that are running, and there's also something for your default connection also, if it is there. So LO is there, If you remember, I showed you about LO before. More information that will come over here. So this is the pointer. Once you point it, it will start pulling the data and giving information to you over here. Yeah, so this is in brief about some Linux network commands. I hope I did try to give you a brief overview. If you have any questions or queries, do feel free to reach me, and thanks for watching.